Hey guys, Zen here, and the meta for Rainbow Six Siege has been very consistent recently. There's always been those top few spots that only a few operators occupy, and it's been a task to try to see some new faces get the limelight. But after this next patch coming to Rainbow Six Siege with the Year 6 Season 3.3 update, there's going to be some dramatic changes coming to the meta, and a couple of ops are going to be getting a chance to shine. This update also includes one of the most wild reworks in the history of Siege, and something that personally I just never saw coming. And so in this one, we're taking a look at everything. The big buffs and nerfs, the win delta graphs, you guys know the deal, and the reasoning behind some of this stuff. It's incredible. But quickly, guys, my friends over at Surfshark VPN have an amazing deal on their flagship VPN service that keeps you safe and protected while you're online. Guys, over this past year, hackers and people gaining access to sensitive information has become a serious topic, and one of the best ways to keep them out of your personals is to use Surfshark VPN and get ahead of it. Surfshark uses industry-leading encryption tactics to safeguard your experience online, and will even alert you if there's been a breach. So if you need to change a password or lock down an account, you'll be notified. They also have a vast network with over 3,200 servers in more than 65 countries, so you can get connected anywhere. And of course, there's the added benefit of accessing content not available in your area. If you're looking to catch up on some episodes of Friends, well, just connect to a server in the UK and the entire catalog opens up for you. And so guys, click the link at the top of the description and get Surfshark VPN with an 83% discount and 3 months free when you use code zen.bizcontact. They have a 30-day money-back guarantee, and it's available for all the devices you use. So yeah, thanks to Surfshark VPN for supporting the channel, and let's get back to it. And so basically since the beginning, Jaeger has always dominated the charts on defense because he's just had essential utility and a really strong weapon. To counteract this, Wamai was introduced, another anti-projectile operator with his magnet gadget. And although they are very powerful on their own, he's not been able to touch Jaeger with a 10-foot pole. And even now, he's still struggling to keep up. Now, for a long time, Jaeger's remained the focus, and as you guys know, they've nerfed him time and time again, even going as far as changing him from a 3-speed operator to a 2-armor 2-speed operator, and nothing has made a big difference. And look, they've tried literally everything, reworking the ADS, the most recent nerf to the 416 that dramatically changed the weapon's recoil, and surprisingly, through all of this, Wamai's only ever gotten nerfs. He's really never been buffed. But that dynamic could be changing in a pretty substantial way, because Wamai is receiving his biggest buff yet by increasing his magnet count to 6 from 4. They say, similar to Oryx, we've decided to roll back a change to Wamai from Year 5 Season 4 and tweak him slightly to account for this. We've heard your feedback about wanting a more viable alternative to Jaeger and his ADS, and hope that by increasing Wamai's total magnets, this will increase his map control. To account for the 50% increase in total magnets, their catching area has been decreased, which is expected to make their placement more predictable and easier to spot for attackers. Now, as you guys know, I play a ton of Wamai, and he's quickly become one of my favorite defenders because of his flexibility with his gadget. The big leg up that the magnets have always had over the ADS is the placement, your ability to basically place these things anywhere and defend against whatever projectiles are coming your way. I've always felt that Jaeger's biggest perk is the amount of surface area he covers with 3 ADSs. And after the rework that gave each ADS infinite charges, it's really been tough for the magnets to stand out against that incredible utility. I think finally the devs have fully realized this and have buffed Wamai and given him 6 magnets, so he at least stands a chance here. And as you guys can see here, I went into the test server where this is being tested out, and that decreased range, it's just unnoticeable. I think if you throw a magnet in game and you intend for it to protect you, it'll do just that each and every time consistently. And so yeah, I think this is obviously a really solid buff to Wamai, and so if you haven't been playing him, there are exactly 2 more reasons to do so. But now we can move over to Kapkan, and man, there is just no other way to say it. This is a crazy rework, and the reasoning behind it is also very interesting. So here it is. The number of entry denial devices per door or window frame is no longer limited to 1. In fact, it's unlimited. You can put up to 5 Kapkan EDDs on anywhere that they can be placed, and it's just wild. Just hear this. If 1 entry denial device on a door is a fun surprise, what would you call 5 EDDs? In an effort to spice up Kapkan's gameplay, he can now place a greater number of traps on doors and window frames, both increasing their active coverage and possible damage output. It should also be noted that while he is no longer limited to 1 trap per door or window, the deployment space on each will still have a limit depending on their size. This means that while windows are capable of housing fewer EDDs than doors, they can still be stacked on either side of the frame, including on the inside and outside to maximize explosive impact. Triggered traps on a given frame will then explode in unison, dealing 60 damage each. For reference, depending on armor, you can expect 3 or more traps to be lethal, or just about. Now guys, as unbelievable as this may sound and look in game, there's actually some serious benefits here. Kapkan has always had this set it and forget it kind of gadget where you place your EDD on a window frame or door and you go on about the round. Hopefully someone steps through it and it explodes, giving your team a little bit of intel, and in the best of cases, they're already hurt and you can secure a kill. But Kapkan has always capitalized on the attacking team's laziness or when they're just not paying attention. And if they're not paying attention to one trap on a door, then 2 could easily go unnoticed. And usually it only takes 2 EDDs to eliminate a target. And this is where Kapkan can become an extremely lethal trap pick. Now, 5, I don't know where that will ever be necessary. And I also probably wouldn't commit that heavily to one doorway. But I suppose if 1, 2, or 3 attackers are all running through the same doorway and you happen to place 5 EDDs there, then yeah, you're going to come away with one of the most satisfying triple kills you've probably ever experienced in Rainbow Six Siege. And that alone, it's probably worth it. But make no mistake, this is 100% a buff to Kapkan, and universally, this just makes him better. This gives him back some of that one-shot capability he's always had in the past, where with 2 or 3 EDDs on a single doorway, you will take out pretty much anything that walks through it. And so I'm glad that this has happened for him, and I think Kapkan will be a little bit more of a viable and flexible pick now that he's got this absolutely insane rework. Now Castle, he's up next, and he's received just 1 more armor panel, upping his count to 4 from 3. Now they've also reduced the amount of hits it takes to melee one down from 12 to 9. And so a little bit of a buff, a little bit of a nerf, but I think it will make a pretty big difference for him. Castle is one of those really controversial operators anytime he receives any kind of change because it affects the top ranked and pro players vastly different than pretty much everyone else in the game. But I'll take it. Another armor panel is a pretty solid buff to an operator that doesn't get a ton of love, at least in casual. And then Clash. She's lost the P10C, but added the Super Shorty. And here's what they say. Clash, say hello to the Super Shorty shotgun. With a pick rate of only 3%, the P10C hasn't been seeing much use in Clash's loadout. Given that she already has a machine pistol at her disposal, we wanted to introduce a weapon to her kit that offers a different option from what she already has. The Super Shorty will open up more gameplay options and utility for Clash, lending well to her up close and personal style of play. Now guys, as a Cali main, that submachine pistol that Clash has access to is absolutely lethal and is probably one of the most underrated weapons in Rainbow Six Siege. For me, I won't be swapping to the Super Shorty anytime soon, but I do understand that there are people out there that don't want to see any kind of buff to Clash at all, particularly with how frustrating she can be to play against. However, the Super Shorty is a utility shotgun through and through. It really doesn't offer a ton of consistent firepower, especially over the SPS MG9, but it is definitely a better option than the P10C, and so hopefully there's a little bit more utility here with Clash and she can help remodel the site. Finally, Melusi loses her C4 and gets a bulletproof camera, and Oryx's Ramadash cooldown goes down to 8 seconds from 12. But alright, next up we can take a look at a couple of weapons getting changed, with nerfs for the MX4 Storm and the famed P10 Roni. Now guys, as far as the MX4, honestly, I saw this one coming. Alibi recently received the 1.5 scope on the weapon, and it has been the perfect upgrade to this operator. It's honestly increased my playtime with her significantly, and it feels super good on the submachine gun. But it's a laser. Like, it does not move at all. And yeah, it felt great with the holographic, but the 1.5 adds that ultra precise aiming that brings the weapon to an all new height. So the devs dialed it back and added some recoil. Now, as you can see, it isn't dramatic. It's far from what they did to Zophia's M762 or even Jaeger's 416. It's basically giving a weapon that essentially didn't have recoil, just a little bit of recoil. And for Alibi, I don't think it's going to change too much. I also believe that not enough people are using the incredible ACS-12 shotgun after its buffs. And now that the MX4 isn't a dedicated laser beam, hopefully more people will take it for a spin. The Roni, on the other hand, was hit pretty bad. There's a significant change here compared to its current state, and because it's such a popular option and people have gotten used to it, you're going to feel it. This is what they had to say. In its pre-Year 6 Season 3.3 state, the P10 had an extremely tight pattern that made it extremely effective, as proven by Mozzie's impressive KD. While its vertical recoil has increased, when compared to the updated MX4 Storm, the updated P10's recoil should still be slightly easier to manage. It should still represent a strong pick for both operators, but we also hope that it'll open the door to more experimentation with Aruni's MK14 and Mozzie's Commando. So the bullet points are a smaller magazine going to 15+1 instead of 19+1, increased vertical recoil, and increased initial kick recoil. Now, for me, this is a much bigger deal for Aruni than it is Mozzie. Mozzie has the commando, and along with the buttery smooth reload animation, it's a great weapon. With Aruni though, if you're not a fan of single shot DMRs, you have to fall back on the Roni, and if that's not solid, then you're almost forced into the MK14. Now, I think I've said this word 50 times in this video, but the MK14 is underrated. I use it all the time, and it'll surprise you with how fast it rips through enemies. I won't say the Roni is dead, but I think Mozzie and Aruni players have more choices here. And beyond that, the only other change is that for every attacker with the hard breach charge, they'll now get 2 of them instead of just 1. Now, as for the graphs, there are some operators climbing up here. First off, on attack, Osa is starting off strong, and I fully believe that over time, she'll continue to grow and become more popular. It's a shame that Callie sits where she does, because any Callie main knows that she is the best kept secret right now, and it's clear that more people should be using her. And then the top spot goes to Iana. She recently got some nerfs, but not enough to pull her back behind Ashe and Twitch, and it's actually taken a long time for her to climb up this far. On defense, the only operator that's really exciting is actually Aruni. Since her release, she's been slowly moving up, and it'll be interesting to see if it's just been the power of the Roni that's given her that clout, because the Syria Gate is one of the best gadgets in the game right now, and it'll be a shame to see it move down. And so guys, that's this upcoming patch, and for me, it's one of the most unique shifts maybe ever to Siege. This one should be fun. But if you did enjoy this one, drop a like and subscribe with notifications if you're new. I'll see you guys again soon in the next one. Hey, I'm out.